another stupid, useless comparison shootout video. Today what we're going to be doing is comparing and contrasting the unplugged acoustic attributes of a handful of guitars. We're going to be trying to step up through a spectrum, and we're really trying to get at two questions. First is, I'm going to kind of put my money where my mouth is. Somebody on a forum I foolishly follow is making the very stubborn, die on this hill contention that his hollow body guitar can do everything an acoustic guitar can. It's every bit the acoustic guitar as an acoustic guitar. And he was specifically talking about playing it in an unplugged situation, which leads me to the second question, the more practical one, which is that having recently played in a handful of truly unplugged gigs where I have no vocal PA, nothing to amplify my guitar, no guitar amp or PA to plug it into, but rather just, on a first Tuesday sort of art walk event, sitting in the corner of an art shop, needing to self-balance. What is the best guitar to bring to an unplugged situation where we're going to sort of assume that, hey, my voice is my voice, and an unplugged situation is never going to, for my money, be optimal. But if we just take as a given that however loud my voice is, what's the best guitar to naturally blend with my unamplified voice? Which, that is the question I'd like to answer. So the guitars we're going to be comparing, I'm going to start with just a solid body electric guitar, not because anybody thinks it's going to win the challenge, but that it should be our baseline. We fully expect that this is, there's no help. It's just the strings. Me standing 5 feet from this camera, are you going to hear it? Are you going to hear it when I sing? I think the answer is probably no, but that will be our baseline. I think that'll be the quietest that we get. Then I'll step up into a semi-hollow guitar, one which has two hollow sides, two chambers, but a center block underneath the pickups, which is what most hollow body guitars that you might go out and buy really are. Then I'm going to get to the meat of the matter, the first of our true comparisons, which is I'm going to play a fully hollow electric guitar, no center block, so one continuous chamber. And this is, for the benefit of the doubt, let's say that this is what this fella is saying will do the job. Then I'm going to go straight from that to a steel string acoustic guitar, a typical dreadnought size guitar. And then I'm going to start stepping down. We're going to go from there to a concert-sized nylon guitar, and from there down to my Fender Acoustasonic, which I think will have, I suspect will have similar performance and characteristics to the fully hollow guitar, because it is the size of a telecaster. Its body is just slightly bigger than a telecaster, slightly thicker than a telecaster body. And it is one continuous chamber with one sound hole instead of two F holes. But I think that I'm going to get a similar amount of projection to a hollow body guitar. And then I will back to back that hollow body into it, either through editing or through just picking up the guitar for simplicity's sake. So let's find out whether or not a truly hollow body guitar can in fact compete with an acoustic guitar. And let's also find out what guitar out of the ones I've just mentioned would be the best natural balance to an unamplified voice in a performance situation. In other words, what would be the best, whether it's a campfire or sit in the corner of an unplugged, art shop, art gallery, then what should I bring next time I do this thing? So let's go and let's get this underway. Okay, guitar one, not that it matters, but this is a Fender Jaguar, and this is not a thin line, it is a solid body Jaguar. So what I'll do is I'll play some chords, I'll play a little bit of an arpeggiation, and then I will sing over the same, and those will be the tests that we're doing. So here we go. Hey, hey, it's time to gather round, time to hear the tale of a sad and lonely boy who dreamed of love. It can rain, sometimes clouds must go away. Okay, as I switch guitars, preliminary thoughts is pretty much what I expected. I doubt you can hear it at all, or perhaps just very faintly. Certainly, I don't think an audience could hear that. I could hardly hear it. Once I started singing, that would have been really difficult to make work in any kind of realistic sense. So this is a chambered or semi-hollow guitar. And there's a center block under the pickups, but on either side we've got chambers, and so this should have some more natural amplification than the Jaguar. Let's see. Hey, hey, it's time to gather round, time to hear the tale of a sad and lonely boy who dreamed of love. It can rain every day, sometimes clouds must go away. Okay, I think that was a noticeable step up in terms of volume. However, still not something I would relish playing live in that way. I don't think it really can be heard. I can certainly hear it a little bit better. I can get my pitch off of it. I can kind of get the feel of it. But I don't think you could probably hear it that well. And I think that there's no reason to use that way. This is a fully hollow guitar. This Epiphone Casino has no center block. It's one big chamber. And on top of that, it's a slightly wider body. So I think that there's a little more room to build up some resonance, and I expect this to be louder and project better than the Alley Cat I just played. But I still, here's where the rubber hits the road. So here we go. Hey, hey, it's time to gather round, time to hear the tale of a sad and lonely boy who dreamed of love. It can't rain every day, sometimes clouds must go away. Okay, so I gotta grant him, this is on the verge of being workable. I certainly can hear it. Now, I mean, I am hitting it pretty hard, but this is, at least like here in my space, this almost works. This certainly would be enough where I could take this off the wall and play it as something I was like trying to work on an idea late at night, not wake anybody up, but still feel like I'm hearing enough sound to be inspired. This, I think, is going to wipe the floor with it, and it should. I'd be shocked if this is not, far more projection, even though it's got this cutaway. I think, this steel string acoustic guitar should outproject all of these. Hey, hey, it's time to gather round, time to hear the tale of a sad and lonely boy who dreamed of love. It can't rain every day, Sometimes clouds must go away. Okay, and I think that bears out. I think that kind of puts to rest the idea that that a hollow body is every bit an acoustic guitar as an acoustic guitar is. It just isn't. It's on the cusp. Now, what I have found, because I've typically taken a guitar like that, I've taken steel string guitars to these unplugged gigs, but this made me wonder, would this be better suited to my nylon? And I'm not sure what I expect out of this. Will this be too quiet? That's been my assumption, is that my voice will overpower this guitar like it overpowered some of the others. But maybe, on the flip side, this, I don't know if the steel string guitar is maybe taking up too much room compared to my unamplified voice. So this I'm very interested to contrast and analyze. Hey, it's time to gather round, time to hear the tale of a sad and lonely boy. Dreamed of love, it can rain every day. Sometimes clouds must go away. Okay, so I don't know. I'm curious to hear how it's going to turn out over there. Over here, I think that might actually be a little nicer. Oh no. There was a little more breathing room for me to sing and for me to for my voice to control the quieter part of that space without feeling like the guitar was just a non-factor, like I did with something. Like I mentioned, I was hitting the hollow body, the fully hollow, the Casino, pretty hard just to bring it not even as loud as the nylon, is my feeling. Okay, so this one, I already kind of know how I feel about this, but I'm going to try to listen to it fresh. So this, I think, will, and I'll do a back-to-back of this and the Casino in a moment here. Hey, it's time to gather round, time to hear the tale of a sad and lonely boy. Dreamed of love, it can't rain every day. Sometimes clouds must go away. Okay, so I'm glad I did that back to back because it's pretty clear, one right after the other. The Acoustasonic is a little more resonant, does project a little better. Perhaps it's because of the center sound hole as opposed to the F holes. I don't know. Perhaps it's just the depth of the body, although they look very similar in depth. I don't know why. I don't know the engineering behind it, but it's very clear that the result is the Acoustasonic, which is a substandard unplugged guitar, one which I have previously and stand by the contention is only good for like taking down off the wall and being able to noodle on it and hear it at close distances, but is not a performance instrument if it's not plugged in, and it's not meant to be. It's frankly not meant to be, but it is a noticeable degree louder, better projecting unplugged acoustic instrument than this hollow body. So final thoughts. In summary, for me personally, I think that this proves what I intuitively suspected, that a fully hollow a fully hollow guitar is likely, and I didn't check every single available, bigger body, deeper body, but I think that it's an uphill climb to suggest that that a fully hollow electric can do everything that an acoustic can, because I don't think frankly it just can't. It didn't even really compete with the smaller bodied concert nylon guitar. Um, so I think that as far as like going to an unplugged situation, the interesting thing that emerged is that I may be leaning towards the nylon for the next time I have such an event over a steel string acoustic. I may be leaning towards, you know what, they're either going to hear me or they're not. They can come closer to hear me, but what I want is that in this space that immediately surrounds me and 5 feet distant, I thought like it was more inspiring, it was more under my control, and my voice was able to occupy the correct prominence within the natural balance with greater ease, using the nylon over the steel string. And I'd want to try that out a little more, to be a little more sure. I'd want to play some different kinds of songs and get a better feel for it. But anyway, that's my takeaway, is that I think that for me personally, it definitely comes down to the steel string acoustic or the nylon. The others just cannot compete acoustically. They cannot be an acoustic guitar. But in an unplugged situation, I might defer to having just a little less body and projection, and instead let my voice take over. That it really does come down to what my voice is going to lack from not having a microphone, from not having the second half of that instrument, is very nicely provided by the space in the nylon. So that's my takeaway, and until next time.